Hi guys, it's Sean. I'm going to try to attempt to do a poodle tail video. I know Meredith, you were asking about that. And first of all, what I wanted to show, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm trying to figure out a good place to put my camera, but it's hard. Basically, the amount that you're going to take off the end of the tail, I'm going to talk about clipping the base in a second, but basically when you stand your dog up, as square as you can, she's not always so cooperative, is if you take the top of the dog's occiput, not the big beautiful top knot, you take the top of the dog's occiput and you have an imaginary straight line. So I'm going to get down here and I'm going to, the top I'm going to, pretty much guesstimate, but I'm going to take the top of her occiput and then I have the end of the tail hair here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the end of the tail hair that falls above the height of the occiput. I'm going to look at this again right here. And I'm no show groomer, this is just what I learned, so I thought I'd teach what I learned. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to twist this, and that will give me how much I'm going to take off. Okay, so now I've got a top knot that when it's all done is going to be in balance with the dog. So here I'm going to go ahead and do her tail and hopefully it comes up on video. The length of the tail, all breeders, people dock them all screwy and weird and wrong and right. Basically what I do is I take the length of the tail bone and I divide it into thirds. Or another rule of thumb is to kind of go to where you end your clip and put the tail down, and the bottom of the clip line should be just below the anus, so if that makes any sense at all. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the base of her tail with a 10. When I clip the underside of the tail, I hold the clipper like this so that there's no way that I can nick the anus there. And I'm used to using my clipper back, so pardon me for being a little slow, because if I turn my clipper back on, you might not be able to hear me. So basically I've got all around the anus clipped and up to a third of the length of the bone. Not the length of the whole pup. It drives me crazy when I get a poodle in and it's like the whole tail shaved and then there's this thing on the end. I don't even know what it is. It's like a paintbrush. And I personally like to, she's a little chubby, she's a little big, I like to come in with a V. I like to tighten that even up. I find that doing an inset V makes the dog look a little shorter also, so if you have a long-bodied dog and you take a nice V right in here, you can change the way the dog looks. Okay, so basically I've got that done there. I'm not sure if you can see that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb out the tail. And this is just how we learned in school, so I'm teaching you the way that I was taught. First thing you're going to do is take a couple of hairs from the very tip of the tail, just a few of them. And then what I do is I hold the tail down level, and what I do is I push the tail up to my clipped line. I love giant curved scissors, I apologize. And then I'm going to scissor with my curves along the clip line. And then what I'm going to do is put my fingers this way and twist up the bottom of the tail hair. So you can, I'm not sure if you can see, but the bottom of the clipped hair will pull up to the top. Let me try that again. I'm going to go down, push, and then twist up, and that will get me my last few hairs here along that clip line. Okay, that in a way, in general, kind of gets you the bottom curve here. And you can just go around there and check that. Basically doing a tail is also the way you can think of doing pom-poms as doing 4 tails. That's how I think of it. And I'm just going to neaten up that line at a 45, my scissors are at a 45-degree angle. So from the clip, I'm just scissoring at a 45, seeing if there's anything I missed on my little push-up exercise. I'm going to go ahead while I'm here. She's not done yet. Her body hasn't been clipped, but I'm running late for my next appointment, so I'm trying to hurry here. I'm just going to bevel that V so that looks better. So now what I've done is I've taken the length off depending upon how tall the dog's occiput is, or top of the skull. I've pushed it down backwards toward the butt to get the bottom bevel. Now you can see what I have. I have this little kind of poof with like a little solar system around it. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to take off that middle wedge. Wow, Brydie, you're standing so good. Yay! I've been grooming this dog for 6 years. She likes to sit down. I'm so sorry about that light. My husband installed some more LED lights so I could scissor a little better. So you're basically just taking off a little middle ring and bringing it all together. I always comb it out a few times and check. Now standards have it's usually more meat on their tail, more hair on their tail. Your tail on your standard will definitely be a little more oblong. Alright, let me see if I can. Not sure if you can see that, but pretty much. And then if you have a dog that will hold its tail up, you can go like this. Then you can get the berry. The little tips to Brydie's here. Oh, Brydie, I love you. You're doing this for the video. So nice. Alright guys, there's your tail.